Hi, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength, and this is Exercise 101, a series where we break down exercise form and help you get the most out of every rep. I want to help you break down the sit-up. Getting started, you will need a couple pieces of equipment, mainly a piece of the floor where you can completely lay down, and either an exercise mat or a towel works great if you don't have an exercise mat. Shelby, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Starfish Strength Inc. recommends you consult your healthcare professional before beginning any exercise program. This content is intended for informational purposes and should not be used to self-diagnose or self-treat any health, medical, or physical condition.
Thanks, Shelby. So honestly, we all have to do it every day, right? We get out of bed, we get up from the couch. Like, we really do more sitting up than we realize. So I want to make sure that whatever sitting up you're doing it well. I really hate that crunch machine at the gym. But if that's the sit-up you're doing, I want to make sure that that's an ab strengthener and not a shoulder ruiner. We're going to focus on the eccentric part of the movement. We have the concentric movement, which is the actual sit-up itself, and then the eccentric movement, which is that lower down. So we're not going to focus so much on sitting up as we are laying down. All right, so if that sounds like your kind of workout, keep watching. I'm gonna pretty much focus on laying down with control initially. So I'm sitting here, my spine's pretty tall. I'm gonna bring my abs in. If you need to, you can have your feet further away from your body than this. That's totally fine. That's a good starting place for a lot of people. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult as I bring the feet towards me. So think about, what you're comfortable with. Let's be a good example and start with them out there. So sitting up nice and tall, holding on to my knees until I'm ready to go. And then I'm going to try to control my lower to the ground, taking about 3 to 4 seconds to do that. So 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. All right. And in actuality, when I do that, it's probably going to look a little bit more like this. And that's okay. Focusing on this slow, controlled, eccentric lower, which is what we're doing, is actually going to help us a lot with that quick, concentric sit-up that we want to be able to do. The reason I'm sitting up so nice and tall, aside from the fact that I am tall, is because I really don't want to do anything unkind to my shoulders. You can kind of see that when people start sitting up like this is not fantastic for my shoulders. So we want to respect the shoulders and work the abs. As much as I can, I'm trying to line up the back of my head with my back, kind of like everything's pressed flat against a wall, which is going to result in me looking not just up, but kind of forward. I'm looking at some little cloud in the sky, perhaps. It doesn't have to be a cloud. And then I'm either going to position my hands at the sternum. I can position them behind my head. Some of us don't have the shoulder mobility to do that, so I'm not going to really emphasize that today. Or I could cross my arms in front. All right? But whatever helps me kind of look up at the sky and keep my shoulders back. You can kind of check yourself out in the mirror and see where your perfect posture is. But for me, it kind of helps to think about looking up and then looking forward. And then let's talk about actually sitting up. So initially, I'm not going to have the strength to just sit up and keep my shoulders back like that, right? No. So instead, initially what I would do is bring both knees in towards you. If you can't bring them that close, this works too. What we're going to think about is when you were a kid and you built momentum on a swing set. I'm going to push my feet forward, kind of like I'm pumping my legs on a swing to get back up. So 2 to 3 seconds or 3 to 4 seconds if you can to come down. And then pumping my legs, holding on to them to come up, keeping my chest up and forward. Then the next stage of this, I might feel like maybe I don't need that leg power anymore, but I do still need a little bit of momentum. I'm gonna use my hands overhead and press them forward and up. So I'm still pretty much keeping my shoulders safe here, right? Because I'm not hunching over like this. I've got my hands pressed up. They're aiming where my eyes are aiming, right? Forward and up. So again, controlling that lower on the way down, and then using the hands as an assist to bring myself back up. And then I might feel like I can bring the feet a little bit closer to me. And maybe I don't need to press the hands all the way up, right? Maybe I can have them right here. This is where I might actually introduce like a light weight. So 3 to 5 pounds is probably perfect for most people to get started with this. And this would be like the third progression I would try. So I'm going to control on the way down, and then I'm swinging the weight and pressing it forward on the way up. And as this progresses and I don't need as much momentum, I can just press this up straight from my chest, and you'll feel that this really starts to turn on your upper abs. So I'm still going to focus more on that eccentric lower on the way down than I am on getting that really quick sit up on the way up. And it's okay if you do, a couple with just the weight, and then you're like, okay, I really can't do any more. I think I'm going to grab my feet again to help myself up, because you're still building that strength as you eccentrically lower. So those are my exercise 101 tips on getting started with sit-ups. I hope this was helpful and you found something you can use to seize your inner star. I'd love to hear your questions in the comments below. Feel free to check out our other videos, maybe consider subscribing, or maybe send this to someone you think it might help. Thanks so much again. I'll see you next time.